I need to take a moment to just praise the artwork of this chapter. It was very crisp, clean, and that final page with the art style of the monster, demon, whatever that thing is. The style and the design of it, it looks so menacing. And it looks like something that honestly is very unique. And so I just want to take a few moments to compliment the artist. Just the artwork of this chapter looked so good. And so, besides that, that final panel. How in the hell are the children supposed to overcome that? That's my question right now. I mean, some of them are definitely going to overcome it, but just like, how are they all going to make it out of that? Because with this creature popping up, they don't really have much time to sit there and read a book like they did with the, the plants, because they're going to have to run. They're going to have to book it, because looking at the way that demon monster thing looked at the end of the chapter, it's very fast, it's quick on its feet, it has a large mouth, it's going to eat your ass, so it's definitely not going to work in the same way as the plant. You won't have time to sit there and flip through book pages to figure out, how to counter this thing, so what the hell are they going to do? The only thing that comes to mind, that the only way they can get away from this thing, is if the ground collapses in. Remember what was said in the earlier portion of this chapter. It was said that the ground doesn't give way until it's in the middle of the winter. So only in the middle of winter does the ground like cave in, and that entire cave to where the plant, is trying to eat the children, that's the only time that happens, is in the middle of the winter. So because of that, we do know that there is a possibility that a bigger hole could open up if this creature just starts rampaging on the ground. And if it does do that, that means it'll fall in and it'll get trapped or something, unless it has crazy climbing abilities or whatever, like it can latch onto trees and start climbing up, then it might get stuck. So that's the only way I could see the children getting out of that situation, is running, lead the creature somewhere, they get like in a nook or cranny or whatever between a tree, and then it tries to go up against the tree or whatever to grab them, and it may fall down because, the roots give way, and they fall in and they get stuck. So I could see the monster getting stuck like that, but besides that, I don't know. I mean, will the children, or will some of the children die? That is the question, because so far for this journey, a lot of them have made it, and this series can be very dark and grim, and I like how the writer has this tension still, even after we've already left the farm, even after we've already gotten rid of, trying to figure out how they can escape the farm. We now are trying to figure out who is going to die. For instance, will they all manage to make it, or will some of them die along the way? Because there's just no way that all of them most likely is going to be able to make it. So I've just been waiting for that moment to when the writer wants to just start, axing off some characters, kind of thinning out the, the entire cast, before we can have a select group that gets development. I mean, I do like a lot of our characters, it just, I wonder when that's going to happen, because we know this series can be dark. I just wonder when it will start doing that. Will some of the children die, or will some, or will they all make it, basically? That's the question I have for this episode. So with that kind of being thrown to the side, let us talk about what they found out when it comes to the coordinates in this chapter. So the pin is very advanced. Like, we already saw like a hologram pop up, which kind of indicates that the technology is way beyond the capabilities of probably even 2040, or even further than that, because we gotta factor this in. That pin has a very long battery life. Like, the battery life on that pin, whatever is powering it, is incredible, because of what it is doing with, the coordinates to the hologram and all that, just everything about it. It's basically like a mini computer. It's like a tablet or something. There's just like, the battery that thing must have, or whatever is powering that, is way beyond our capabilities when it comes to batteries in our day and age. And then also just the technology of what it's able to do too, since it's like a mini computer. I'm just very curious on how advanced is the civilization out there, because everything we have seen from the farm, it seemed like standard tech, but this is beyond everything. And I mean, we already knew that because of the hologram, but the more I see of this pen, the more details we get, the more I'm thinking, like, this just isn't an average pen that just has a code on it or a hologram. It literally has built-in messages and stuff, and for this device to stay powered for such a long time without deactivating or going off, it really shows that something is really strong inside of this, and I don't know what's powering it, I have no idea. Whatever it may be that is powering this pen, it's still very strong, so I can't wait for that to finally be revealed, because if I was them, I'd be thinking, like, how is this thing staying on for so long? I mean, for it to be a separate device that's like a tablet slash computer, there's just no way it could power itself for so many years and be fine. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, anyways, there's coordinates on this device leading them down the proper path to where to find William. And there's been so many theories, and so many of you Chibits have just discussed this in length about what you think is going on, if this person is a good guy, a bad guy. We don't really know a lot of information about this person. However, he has been helping out the children. All his information is very accurate. And we don't really even know if this person is a guy or a girl. We really don't know at this moment. We also don't know if William is actually like some form of organization or a bunch of different people into one group or something. We really don't know. Or we don't even know if this person is still alive. It's a likely possibility, since these books are so old, that William might already be dead, long gone, and there might not be any hope for the children in the future. Or, let's factor this in, which could be a very dark situation as well. What if William is someone that's like a demon? For instance, someone that is wanting to get really smart children. Like, think about it. Think about what the main thing that's been going on here in this series, okay? The demons were raising children to eat them, eat their brains and all that, okay? And they were raising them to be smarter, and they were high quality because of how smart they were. Now, think about it like this. What if there was someone out there that was a demon, and he wanted an extra higher quality, human brain? What if you wanted humans that were able to be at the maximum limit to where they were able to escape from the farm and then find their way over to whoever, this person is? Then that would be probably the tastiest brain most likely you could ever have. So I could see William also being a demon, leading in the children to a certain point where he can just devour them because, they will probably be very freaking smart. I could see that being the case here as well. So, when you think about it like that, there's so many mysteries when it comes to William, the identity of William, and what may be in the future for these children when they finally make it to him. I mean, there's been so much, revelations to what maybe William is or whatever, but overall, though, we still are questioning, what's going on here. Is this person a good guy, bad guy? We don't know. So, going that also to the side, let's talk about the situation with the water. So the water situation has been handled, which is very good news, because when you're in a survival situation, you need water. But as I already said in previous videos, they're in a point to where they don't have the time to sit there and just lollygag around and not get things done. They need to be able to get water quickly, get food quickly. They need to keep moving because they're on the run. They're getting chased right now by demons and all that. They gotta keep moving. There's just no way they need to stop. If they stop, they're gonna lose time. They're gonna get, caught, and then they're gonna die. So they need to keep moving. And so every second they're wasting dealing with problems or whatever, or searching for food or water, they're wasting time, and they need to keep moving. And now that the water situation has kind of been figured out, for instance, they can use these plants, open them up, and get water from it. That's very helpful, because as they travel, if they see any of these plants, they can open it up, get water, carry on. The big thing is the food source. How are they going to be collecting their food? That is something very interesting when you think about it, because everything we have seen from the recent chapters of The Promised Neverland has revealed that this world is not the normal world that we are used to. There's creatures, plants, and all that are completely different from what we are used to. And so we just don't know the time frame of where this is set. This can be hundreds upon hundreds of years past in the future that they are unaware of, and there's just a new ecosystem now. And so there's so many things out there, most likely plants, animals, and stuff they're unaware of, and they don't really know what they can or can't eat. It's like this. You go in the middle of a forest and all that just to camp out, and you see a bunch of berries on a bush. Not all berries are going to be good to eat. You shouldn't always go after a certain plant to eat, or certain mushrooms are good for you, and certain mushrooms can kill your ass. So, it's kind of like this. You don't really know what is safe to eat and what is, not safe to eat. And because of that, the children don't know, and so they can't waste time guessing of what's good or what's not. Thankfully, this book is able to actually let them know kind of what is okay to eat and help them out along their journey. So they do have a guide point, for instance, what they can do and what they need to do, and we do have an objective now thanks to the pin, for instance, giving us coordinates to where they need to head. So we have the objective, they have the means of survival, they have things to look forward to in the future, for instance, to how they can avoid certain things. Overall, they have a lot of things in their disposal where they can actually use it to survive. However, that's not the point at the moment. The main point is that creature at the end of the chapter, which is now popped up very fast. Children, obviously, yes, they're skilled children, but they're still slow. They're still children, because they can't move as fast as an adult, especially a creature like that that's way, way bigger than them. There's probably no way they're going to be able to outrun that creature that easily, so I'm curious to see how that's going to be done. But that's about it when it comes to this chapter. I mean, there was a lot of discussion about the pen, to also how they can, you know, get water, to also just about the books and how it helps them out and all that, to winter, how it's cold. Most likely what is causing this entire cold air is thanks to the trees blocking the sunlight, which makes logical conclusion. I mean, if the trees are literally blocking the sun and you can't see anything, obviously it's going to cool down. So that would explain the temperature situation, but I feel like there's much more than that. I feel like there's an ocean nearby, especially from last week's chapter and the way it was talking about that. So we'll see where that goes. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.